Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we're going to be doing the May general predictions reading, and we have these really sweet orgonite pyramids on each of the piles, and we're going to take a closer look at those in just a moment. But firstly, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you to all of my lovely subscribers, and thank you to all of my lovely patrons as well, including Alexandra, Kelly, Joan, Cara, Mia, Nicole, Alison, and Lena. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for the kindness and the support and the generosity that you show to me and also to my channel and the work that I do here. If you're not a subscriber already, please do consider subscribing. It really helps out my channel and it means that you never miss an upload. You always get notified. Make sure you click the notifications button. And I would love to have you on board as part of the family. So let's take a closer look at the cards and the pyramids on each pile today. So remember, we're asking what's happening in May, or what can I expect in May, what can I look forward to in May, whatever, however you want to phrase it, to fit what you're looking for from this reading. Just take your time to focus in on that question now. And on group one, we have this green orgonite pyramid with this lotus flower in the center that has almost like what looks like a pearl inside it, and these golden pieces on the bottom. And we've got the tarot in Wonderland for group one. Then over on group two, we've got this pink orgonite pyramid with this green crystal tree in the center. And we're using the Fey Tarot for group two. And then on group three, we've got this purple pyramid with a mandala in the center, and then this floating orb on top of the mandala. And that's also got some golden pieces at the bottom. And we're using the Star Spinner Tarot for group three. So whichever pile or piles you feel the most drawn to with your intuition will be the most accurate reading for you. Don't just choose your favorite color or your favorite looking deck or your favorite looking pyramid. Choose the one that you feel really, really drawn to with your intuition, that you can't stop looking at, or that you maybe get a warm, tingly feeling when you look at, because that will give you the most accurate reading, which at the end of the day is what we're here to do. So when you're ready, I'll be starting with pile number one. You can pause the video if you need more time, or you can go back a little bit if you want to see the close-ups of the pyramids again and the cards. And yeah, when you're ready, I will be waiting with pile number one. Hey there, group one, welcome to your reading. If you chose the green sort of lotus flower orgonite pyramid with the kind of crystal ball or pearl-like ball in the center, and of course the tarot in Wonderland, then this is going to be your reading. We're going to see what's coming up for you in May. I'll just let Gizmond look after that pyramid there for you. So let's get some tarot cards. We're going to do tarot, oracle, charms, dice like we always do. So as always, there's plenty to get through. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, group one. I would really love to welcome you to the family. And of course, that will mean that you never miss any readings or videos that I upload. Okay, so we've got a few tarot cards. So we have the Star, firstly, that's Aquarius energy. And then we've got the King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So there's quite a strong air feeling so far, definitely Aquarius. Two of Cups. And Queen of Swords. Wow, look at that. You've got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, and between them there's the Two of Cups. So there's these two people who are very well suited to each other. And the Two of Cups in the center, and also the Star is about healing. So it feels like in May there is some healing going on within a relationship, especially if it's a romantic relationship, but it doesn't have to be. Group one, it could be, for example, a family relationship, a friendship, a work relationship even. The King of Swords and Queen of Swords are very career focused, or very academic at least. The King and Queen of Swords are actually the only pair in the tarot that aren't married. The Queen of Swords is actually traditionally the King of Swords' widowed sister. So that's why they're often seen as like the least romantic pairing of the two. It's more of like a meeting of minds. So that's why it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic situation that's going on here. It could even be a romantic relationship that's not very kind of lovey-dovey, if that makes sense. Not a very touchy-feely one, but more, as I said, a meeting of minds. But it definitely seems like there's some healing on that front. There's some improvement in a relationship, or there's a rekindling of a relationship. Maybe this is someone that you haven't spoken to for quite some time, or someone that you've been parted from maybe. And May brings about the opportunity to get back in touch or to see them again. Both the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords can indicate contact, communication flowing pretty well. The ever unfolding rose. Cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. Wow. So this really feels like a situation where there has been a stagnancy, or there has just been a sort of rumbling along feeling, and now there's like a sudden breakthrough. There's a sudden feeling of progress. That's really lovely. I like how it says it's happening for you, not to you. That kind of suggests that you have agency in this situation. Whereas maybe previously you didn't feel like you did. You didn't feel like you had any control over what was going on. Then we have rejuvenating rain, clear the past, heal the present. So this big focus on healing. Look how similar the image is to the star card as well. I like how it's saying clear the past, because like I said, it could be a rekindling relationship. You're kind of getting the opportunity to clear the air, or to lay the past to rest, you know, like we're not going to fight anymore, we're not going to address this situation anymore, we're just going to let it be. Just thought I'd pull you a romance angel card, because we do have this reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Oh my goodness, group 1, that's amazing. I love it when the cards are just so, not spot on because they always are, but kind of like when they're so blunt about it. Does that make sense? Where they just keep giving you the same message in such a clear, repetitive way across multiple different decks and mediums as well, because we've got charms and dice. We often get very similar imagery or messages across the charms and dice that we do see reflected in the cards. Kutumi, Cloak of Wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. Okay, so there's something in May where it's like you know how it's going to unfold, or you know what you want from the situation. You don't need to ask anyone else for permission. You don't need to ask anyone else for their opinion, even, because you know what you want. Mouse Spirit, tend to the small things, number 40. That could be the small disputes, the everyday experience in a relationship. Possibly this card is also pointing towards you already know what this situation is about. Even if you haven't rekindled contact with this person or bumped into this person yet, you already kind of know in your gut who this is talking about, or what situation the cards are referring to. 3 Witchy Sisters, the power of 3, number 9. So sometimes that card can point towards third parties in relationships. So this could be the reason why there's been difficulty or arguments or falling outs in the past. Maybe you felt like you were in a relationship with someone but they were cheating and that wasn't okay, or you were in a relationship with someone and they just didn't stick up for you. They always put their family first, for example, or their friends, or one particular friend or family member. They might have spent far too much time putting their energy into work rather than the relationship, and so those things can also constitute a third party. It's where there is energy basically leaking out of the relationship into a third person or situation, and it's kind of not appropriate, or it's not conducive to the relationship being healthy and long lasting. The power of 3 also makes me think of manifestation, though. The ability to kind of quickly multiply something. So that's also why I think the ever unfolding rose is coming in, like this feeling of it starts out almost like a fluke and then it just happens so quickly, or it just progresses so incredibly. So it could be like from bumping into someone in the street who you haven't seen for a long time, you within days are back together with them. Or it's like you start talking and then it's like you're talking every single day for ages. It's that kind of thing where it just spirals really quickly. Couple of cards here. We've got the Horseman, Herald of Change, absolutely, number 30. So there's the 3 symbolism again. So change is definitely coming for you in May. There's a lot of opportunity for you to change your life or to change the current situation that you're in. You also have Eyes of the Eagle, rising above the fray, number 18. So being able to kind of see the situation from a higher perspective. And this is interesting because it's very different from the Mouse Spirit card. So you've got the Eagle who soars above the situation and sees it from the bird's eye view, and you've got the Mouse Spirit who sees it on the very tiny, almost quantum level. And obviously the mouse is prey for the eagle. So this could be talking about 2 different people's approaches, or it could be talking about the need to kind of cultivate 2 points of view simultaneously. Let's get you some Karten der Liebe. These cards are very good at picking up on our feelings and the dynamics of what's going on in our relationships. So here we've got number 45, Angst vor Versagen, fear of failure. So that could definitely be another thing that fed into this situation, or it could be what you're faced with in May when you have this reconciliation. Keck sign, number 21, being cheeky. So some flirting or some kind of a jokey conversation going on with each other. And Auf Wolkenschweben, number 13, floating in the clouds, which is a really lovely card to get and kind of suggests that you feel almost like you're on cloud 9. So there's some real joy to look forward to in May. And, like with this being cheeky, a real sort of jokey, flirtatious relationship. Then here we've got number 53, Bereitschaft, readiness or preparedness, when you're really ready to take something on. And benutzt werden, number 5, being used. So maybe you're afraid of being used. Maybe this is also coming into like this fear of failure. You're worried that someone's going to take advantage of you. But I think the preparedness is also separate to that you're really ready for this, but there's just that fear in the back of your mind that it's not going to work out, or that it's going to go the same way that it did before. But I think you can afford to be optimistic in this situation, Group 1. It looks like there's a real opportunity for you to sort things out and to get things onto an even keel. Yes! Wow, this is the perfect visualization. So this card shows Red Riding Hood and the wolf, and they're sitting down to a picnic in like this shaft of sunlight. It's like this moment of summer in amongst all of this wintry, harsh, bitter landscape. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here, is the 2 people coming together after a time of difficulty, or when they're sort of surrounded by problems and worry, and they're sitting down and they're having a really nice time together, even if they are, this is really interesting again to see this symbolism, typically predator and prey. So we had it with the eagle and the mouse, and we've got it with Red Riding Hood and the wolf. So I'm wondering if there's maybe a situation here where one of you has been really unkind to the other, and so that's why you've got this being used card. You're worried about being prey, falling prey again to that difficult situation, to that feeling of, being victimized or bullied. Or it could even be something where the 2 of you get along very well, because I can see the meeting of minds and that being on the same wavelength message. But on paper, the 2 of you shouldn't get along. Like, you're from very different social backgrounds, or you're from very different cultures, or maybe there's a big age gap or something like that. It just seems like on paper you shouldn't get along, but you do, if that makes sense. The base card for that deck is also the raccoon hero who's afraid to step off the building even though it's on fire. He's worried that he's going to fall. And that's where we've got the message of fear coming in. Fear of failure, fear of being used, fear of things just going the same way again, going in the same direction. We have this card from the King Solomon cards, number 5. I'm not actually sure what that one means, so I will have to check the guidebook, but I'm going to firstly just get you a few more cards because we're nearly at the end of the cards section of your reading, and it's a lot easier for me if I'm not sort of jumping between cards and decks and then cards and decks and cards and decks. So I'm going to get you a blind spot oracle. These cards are really good at showing us what we're not seeing or what we're not acknowledging or not aware of in a situation. Okay, so this, what you're not aware of in May, we've got sigil number 32. I will again need to check the guidebook for that one because they don't have any keywords on them. They just have the sigil and the number. Let's just get a couple more cards. Jelly beans, assortments, hobbies, collections. So maybe there's something to do with your hobby or interest going on in May. I kind of use that to mean hobbies more generally, not just like collecting things, but also things like, for example, if you really like dance, if that's your big hobby, there might be like an opportunity for you to compete in dancing in May, or there might be a big show or performance that you're going to be doing. It's anything where your hobby takes center stage. If you're really interested in football, for example, there might be a really, really big match with the team that you support. Spirashuvai Sivya. Ask yourself, number 12, the 12 of crosses. So there's some questions that you're asking of yourself. I think this also fits in with Kutumi, Cloak of Wisdom, because it's saying trust what you know. You know whatever is going on. You know the answer, or you know what the situation is. You don't need to ask anyone else, because you should just be asking yourself, or you should be getting your own approval or your own permission rather than that of anyone else. So here we've got new moon in Aquarius, open up to change. How incredible is that? We've got the Aquarius symbol there, and also the change message as well. That's incredible. That's amazing. Open up to change in May, group 1. Just get you one more card and then we'll get your guidebook messages. Okay, so number 59 from the Tokens of Light, willpower. And that's the portal visualization on the back. So let's get your guidebooks. We'll start with the King Solomon card, number 5. So that one is about receiving and giving. Free flow of giving and receiving without reckoning or judgment. Cast your bread upon the waters, give unconditionally. Accept another person as he or she is. Give the best of yourself, accept and embrace the situation, and your success is guaranteed. Okay, so being able to be open to someone despite their shortcomings or despite their faults sometimes, being able to forgive, being able to give the best side of yourself as well. Number 59 from the Tokens of Light, willpower. It's the Hebrew letter Resh. And the Hebrew letter Resh is the 20th letter. It's connected to Mercury, the planet Mercury, and Thursday. It's also connected to the air element. So there we've got the air again. The Sun card in Tarot, its geometric value is 200, and it conducts from the Sephirot of Tiferet to Yesod in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, for those of you who are Kabbalists. So the willpower card is about fast forward movement, intense changes, empowerment, strong will, and an urge to execute new plans. The birth of new ideas, fertility, creativity, growth, and construction. Okay, so basically your willpower is pushing you forward to really change a lot of things and really do and accomplish an awful lot in the month of May. And so let's look now at your blind spot. Your blind spot, whatever you're not aware of or not acknowledging in May, is number 32, and that card is Judgment. So it says, if you've drawn this sigil, your negative judgment in this scenario is making it impossible to get the result you want. To have a perspective at all, you must judge. To even call a clock is to judge it as a clock, and thus restrict its potential energy to that of a clock. We judge. That's what people do. And judgment, like any tool, can be beneficial to you or harmful to you, depending on when and how it is used. We all have a perspective about each other. If you have an opinion, you have judged. Trying not to have an opinion defies life. If you've drawn this sigil, using awareness, patience, and bravery to get outside your attachment to what is right or wrong, good or bad, is critical so that you can understand instead of judge. Doing so sets the stage for unification, harmony, and the communication that creates resolve. So I think that's like really what is being pointed towards here. You know what is going on, you know the answers, you know the situation. You don't need to kind of battle it out with anyone anymore. You have the correct judgment, but it's about, can I accept that? You know, yes, I can see this flaw in this person, or I can see this defect or shortcoming, but can I accept that about them and continue to be their friend? Or can I, acknowledge that this is one of their faults and accept being in a romantic relationship with them without constantly badgering them about changing this fault? That I feel is one of the big questions for yourself in May, and there's no right or wrong answer. And there's no easy answer to it either. It's whatever feels right for you. So let's get your charms on top now, group 1. Really interesting reading. Okay, so we have got, what have we got? We've got the Witch with the cauldron. So this is about processing something or being in a process, and that certainly seems to fit the message you've received. On the Floating in the Clouds card, you have the Love Heart, which is really sweet. You've got the Growth charm, which represents obviously the change and the progress that you're making in this month. You also have the Fire Extinguisher, which is symbolic of stopping something before it gets out of hand, nipping something in the bud, basically like preventing something from escalating into a crisis situation, if that makes sense. So there's something here where instead of letting it fester and get worse and build up and become a catastrophe, you are recognizing it in time so that you can stop it and you can, change it. So there's a real empowerment that comes with that. Then we have these worry threads. So these represent worry and anxiety, and they're connected. This one's actually wrapped tightly around this charm. So this is the honeybee on the honeycomb, and that charm means hard work leads to sweet rewards or sweet results. So whatever you're working hard on in this month will have a really positive outcome for you. But there's also the worry there. So I feel like the worry is maybe your fear of, I'm spending so much time working on this, or I'm putting so much of my energy into this. Is it going to give me the outcome I want, or am I going to be disappointed by the end of it? And that's where the fear of failure comes in. So it might not just be connected to this relationship situation. It could also be connected to a hobby or an interest or a project or something at work that's going on, and you're just afraid of putting all of that effort in only to fail or not to have the desired outcome. You've got the letter D here. Could be a person's name, could be a word or a place. Just take whatever comes to you from that. We have the Crown, sovereignty and autonomy, making decisions that are right for you, not doing anything just to please another person. And then you've got this charm, which is, I put this charm in the charm tin maybe about a month ago or a few weeks ago maybe, and it's never come out since then. You're the first people to receive this charm in a reading. Even in private readings, it's never come out. And this is the Stork. So the stork heralds new beginnings. It heralds change. It heralds obviously sometimes fertility and the conception of a child, which this card did also talk about. So if that's not something you want, please be very careful in this month. It heralds this time of change and new beginnings. Let's do your dice as well. Loving the messages you've got today. So we're rolling the 9th set of dice for you. Those are the astro dice. These ones. And we're rolling 4 of them for you. Okay, so we've got the person who is surrendering here. They're sort of dropping to their knees in prayer, or they're completely in awe about a situation. So there is an element of surrender in this month, or an element of just being completely awed or amazed by something. Then we've got the person who is just about to get off the spaceship. So this sense of a new place, a new reality for you, a new experience, adventure, travel, discovery. There's also the spaceman. The astronaut. This dice often makes me think of being quite isolated, where you feel like you're all on your own. You've got a lot of time and space to think. It's a bit hermit-like, if we are to give it a tarot equivalent. But I guess you could also see it as being like this floating on the clouds card, of sort of being weightless and defying gravity in a sense. And over here we've got the handle with care box. So be gentle with your feelings, or be gentle with a particular situation in May. Don't try and rush it or force it or be brutal with yourself. Just allow things to unfold gently and naturally, and equally cut yourself some slack. Don't give yourself such a hard time in May if you are feeling frustrated. So that's what I'm seeing in your reading, group 1. I really hope you've enjoyed it. It was a really interesting reading to do. Thank you so much for trusting me to do this reading for you. Have a lovely rest of your day and take care. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hey there, group 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this pink and gold orgonite pyramid with the little tree in it, and of course the Fey Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So let's take a look and see what's coming up for you in May. Group 1's reading was incredibly specific. It was really, really clear about the details of what was going on. So I'm really curious to see what yours is going to be like. Please do subscribe as well if you haven't already, group 2. That really, really helps out my channel. It's a great way to show your support for the work that I do, and it means that you never miss out on any videos and readings that I upload. Okay, so we have got the 3 of Wands firstly, then we've got the 8 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Wands. Interesting. So I feel like May is going to bring you some expansion with a project that you've been working on, group 2, and this could be a particular goal that you have. It could be a project at work. It could be a lifestyle change that you've been trying to put your effort in towards. I did actually just hear addiction as well as a channeled message. So for some of you, this is you trying to quit smoking, for example. This is trying to change your eating habits to become healthier and like really change the mindset behind it, not just the actual behaviors, but the mindset. And I definitely see that there's going to be some issues in terms of it's going to be difficult, because you got the 9 of Wands, which is when you feel like you are fighting. Like you can't quite see the light at the end of the tunnel yet, but you're still fighting, and you've been fighting a long time. But that light at the end of the tunnel will come, and this 3 of Wands is showing so much opportunity for progression in May, to feel proud of yourself and what you've done and the real hard work and effort that you've been putting in, because you definitely have been putting the work in, group 2, or you certainly will be in May if this is something that hasn't started yet or that you're just thinking about. So let's get you some oracle cards. As always, on this channel we'll be doing tarot, oracle, charms and dice as well. Okay, transformation. Wow, things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. This is literally what I mean. It's not just about changing the behaviors for those of you that are struggling with, you know, your devil card, your addiction, your negative thought processes, your self-destructive behaviors. It's not just about not doing those things. It's about actively changing the way that you think about it, changing the mindset. If it's something that you do when you feel stressed or upset or angry or pressured or whatever the trigger is, it's about learning different ways of coping with those emotions rather than fueling it into these self-destructive behaviors. So it's a deep cellular change, group 2, that you're working really, really hard on, and you should be very, very proud of yourself for all that effort that you're putting in. Sewer mermaid, your sensuality is beautiful, number 25. So maybe there's a little bit of sacral chakra healing going on. That is the second chakra. It is located just below your tummy button, just kind of on your abdomen area. And what's interesting, I think, because we've been talking about the devil and negative behavioral patterns, negative thought processes, is that the sacral chakra, a lot of people think of it as just being like the creativity chakra or the sexuality chakra, which it is those things, but it gets blocked by shame or guilt. I mean, guilt is kind of like a form of shame, really. But that's what it gets blocked by. So when we feel guilty or we feel ashamed or dirty for doing something, or we feel like we carry that emotion with us on our fundamental level, with regards to ourselves, our sacral chakra can be very, very blocked. And when it's blocked, it makes it difficult, obviously, to enjoy intimacy, but it makes it very, very difficult to express yourself authentically. It's not just the throat chakra that's about expression. The sacral chakra is extremely important too. And you can't activate the higher chakras fully without working on the lower chakras. That's something that you need to be aware of as well. If you're, for example, doing a lot of work on your throat chakra, it will never be fully activated and working if the ones beneath it aren't working or aren't fully healed and activated. So just be aware of that. We work from the ground upwards with the chakra system. Yeah, if your sacral chakra is blocked, you won't be able to feel vulnerable. You'll feel very, very frightened or be very averse to having people's eyes on you. And so obviously, as I said, that can make intimacy difficult, but it can also put a block on your relationships in general, not just romantic relationships, but friendships too. Very difficult to open up, very difficult to express who you are authentically. Commander Ashtar, call to action. Take charge, lead by example, walk your talk. So that is what you are doing. Group 2 in May, you are taking control. Like the Emperor card, you are literally saying to yourself, this is my problem, this is my issue, I'm acknowledging it now, and I want to do something about it. For those of you that are just working on a project and not sort of overcoming such a difficult thing, it's more about you finally seizing the bull by the horns and stopping procrastinating and fully like immersing yourself into this situation. Fox spirit, think on your feet, number 27. So expect to be challenged in May. Expect to, you know, run up against situations that might trigger these behaviors or these thought processes. Part of the act of healing when you get to a certain point is to be able to expose yourself to it again. Root girl, the disowned self, just jumped out of the pack there, number 46. This is literally about the parts of ourselves that we consider to be dirty or shameful or disgusting or wrong. The parts of ourselves that we feel guilty about, that we feel distress even just thinking about, that we've disowned, that lies naked and unclean at the bottom of the tree of our identity. It's time to reintegrate that small cold child and let her back in with all of her beauty, because she has so much to offer, so much to share. There's a lot of shadow work going on in May, a lot of self-acceptance. Just getting another card from that deck because that one was a jumper. Caterpillar, opportunity. Number 4. So you're being given the opportunity to do this work. Maybe there's something that really just kickstarts it. Maybe you just are triggered maybe, and you think, do you know what? I've had enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I refuse to live like this anymore, to have my life dictated by these fears or these feelings. To be dictated by an addiction, a cycle I can't get rid of. Witch at the end of the world, number 45, an important end, a new beginning. What a gorgeous message. Wow. Oh, I've actually already got a card from that deck. Hey, I clearly needed to get another card from that deck. I didn't realize I'd already pulled one from that one. Wow, that was a really subconscious thing. Okay, we've got it again here in this card. There's like similar imagery. So there's this grey sky, this industrial landscape, very bleak, very grey, very cold, and there's this mermaid sitting in what looks like a puddle or a pond, and it's this little space of green in amongst all of this greyness, and it's like, where can she go from here? Where has she got to go from here? How has she even got there in the first place, you know? That feeling of being trapped, of being encircled. And also that message with the root girl as well. Parts of ourselves that we've disowned actually turning out to be really beautiful and really offering us a lot of advantage and a lot of benefit when we reintegrate them. This is about becoming more of yourself. Group 2, really digging down deep to become more of your authentic self. Rainbow blessings. Blessings are showering your life. That's really beautiful. This card might also point towards wanting to get out of the city as well. If you do live in a city or a very industrial area, maybe wanting to go somewhere in the countryside, somewhere more natural, more rural, you might be called to do that in May. So that could be an opportunity as well, an opportunity for traveling. We have number 19 from the King Solomon cards. This is all about relationships, intimacy, sexuality, fertility as well. So that's definitely a real key here, is the sacral chakra seems to be at the center of all this. I'm going to actually pull you a romance angel. I wasn't going to, but now that you've got that card, I will. I just pulled one for group 1 because theirs is very focused on their love life. This could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Okay, so it's like you already know what you're doing, and yet you just need to change your behavior, because the base card there is let go of control issues, allow this situation to unfold naturally. So whether that's really meaning that you've already met the person that you're really well matched to, or whether it's more just sort of saying, I can see where I need to be, I just need to take the steps to get there. Just take that however that resonates with you. Let's also get you a blind spot oracle card. These cards are really good at showing up your blind spot. So that is anything that you are not aware of, or that you are deep down aware of, but you're not acknowledging it because it's confronting or distressing to face it or acknowledge it. So we'll see what that is, because these blind spots can cause a big block if we are not acknowledging them. Okay, you've got number 65. I'll need to look in the guidebook for this because these cards don't have any keywords, they just have a sigil and the number. So number 65. Enabling. Okay, that fits. So this one says, if you've drawn this sigil, you think you are helping someone or doing what is right in the situation at hand, when in fact you are merely acting as an enabler. Enablers prevent other people's expansion, and they also prevent their own. It is natural to want to help people and to want to validate people. Even at a self-serving level, helping people and validating them often brings us closer to them and makes them want us more. Enabling is empowering up until the point that we are that what we are enabling is not actually in the best interests of that person we are enabling. When we do this, we do not help someone because we are perpetuating rather than solving a problem in their life. It gives some examples as well, so I'll just reel off some examples of enabling. It can be validating someone's opinion even when it is not in a reflection of reality and may in fact be causing them or someone else harm. Allowing a child to stay home from school because they've not studied for a test, calling in sick to someone's workplace if they're hungover from drinking too much alcohol, lending money to a drug addict so they won't be forced to steal, lying to someone to cover up someone else's lies or irresponsibility, paying overdue bills for someone who gambles money away, making excuses for someone's terrible treatment of another, taking the blame for something that is someone else's responsibility. So any of those could be situations that you resonate with, even if it's not the specific situation, but just an example of what's going on. This sigil is asking you to see that in this situation, you are enabling someone in a way that is leading to that person's lack of awareness, disempowerment, and inhibited personal expansion. It is preventing their long-term well-being and happiness. That person you are enabling might be someone else, and it might be yourself. The question is, how are you enabling and why are you doing this? So I think for a lot of you, the answer is that this is something that you're doing to yourself. Because as I mentioned, I feel like some of you are struggling with addiction or these negative behavioral patterns, or just something like perpetually procrastinating. You know, how it mentioned like calling in sick because you're hungover or because you haven't studied for a test. It's that kind of feeling. Where are you enabling yourself or another to be disempowered and to keep making the wrong choices? That's something to ask yourself in May so that you can get rid of the blind spot. Okay, so then here we've got number 73, Zweifel, doubts. Number 25, Komm doch her, just come here. And number 71, Wollust, lust. So feeling really drawn and attracted to someone in May, it seems, or to a particular thing, like a goal, as I mentioned, seeing where you want to be, but just not being sure how to get there. And then we've got, you know, just come here and doubts. So it's like you are drawn to something, you've got that lust that pulls you towards a person or a goal, and yet you're just not sure how you can get there, or you're just not sure whether you're able to go for it. Does that make sense? It's like I can see where I want to be, but I don't know if I have the strength, or I don't know if I'm good enough. You know, there's this issue of shame possibly cropping up again, to accept that for myself, to be worthy of that. If it's a relationship, for example, that might be how you're feeling, or it could be that you think, going back to the sacral chakra issue, which that one is also connected to, but this one as well. If you are attracted to someone, but you think, I don't want to feel vulnerable. I don't want to be intimate with someone because I don't want them to see me in that way. I'm frightened of how they might perceive me, what they might be thinking or expecting of me. Not wanting to perform, so to speak. We've got Shaman, number 35, shadow. So there is really a feeling that you are dealing with your shadow self in May. And there's also Festhalten, number 10, holding on tightly. This desire to cling to, as I said, behaviors or thought processes or situations that aren't doing you any good and that are actively harming you. This desire to enable. White chocolate, missing, separate, removed, trying to recover. Something that feels like it's been robbed of you. Getting back to your true self, as we mentioned earlier about authentic expression, not being possible without the sacral chakra being healed and vibrant and in alignment. Stupaj ostorожно, step carefully or tread carefully. The 13 of diamonds. Look at how it's a fox again. So there's a cross imagery of the fox there. Fox, I think of being very sleek and smooth, sly, wily, quite fluid, cunning. Last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind. So like I was saying about mindset, worries and fears, you've got the base card, be proud of yourself. Last quarter moon in Taurus, which I think is lovely. Really definitely take that on board, group 2. Let's get you one final card and then we'll move on to your charms and dice. Wow, okay, that was quick. So we have number 8 from the Tokens of Light. And this one is called Ripeness for Independent Growth, which is perfect because it really fits with this opportunity message and this no more enabling message that you've gotten. And this is the portal visualization on the back of the card. So if we just read a tiny bit more about that card, it is the Hebrew letter Gimel, the 3rd letter of the alphabet. Its geometric value is 3. It is connected to Jupiter and Sunday. It's also connected to Scorpio and the High Priestess card in Tarot and the fire element. It conducts between the Sephirot Binach and Geburach for those of you who are Kabbalists. Okay, so let's move on to your charms and dice. Let's see what they can tell us. Such an opportunity for growth and healing and transformation in May. So you've got a key. It's always nice to see a key that's talking about opening doors, solving a problem, unblocking something that has become stagnant or stuck. We've got the letter J, could be a person's name or a word or a place. And that's actually landing on this particular charm, the unicorn, which is all about the inner child, innocence, uniqueness and purity. And I think all of those things are things that you're being asked to address in May, group 2. The inner child, because of that root girl imagery and a lot of these issues when we struggle with addiction or we struggle with low thoughts about ourselves or negative behavioral patterns and thought patterns, they can often have their roots in childhood. What we learned about ourselves, what we were told about relationships and about the world, often lies that we were told about ourselves, words that we used to describe us that just didn't match up with reality at all, and often reflected the insecurities and fears of the adults or other children who use those words towards us. The message of purity and innocence is very important for those of you that are dealing with sacral chakra issues, because like I said, it is blocked by shame and guilt and feeling like you are dirty or tainted in some way. And then the uniqueness and independence and individuality message is also important because of this message of reflecting your true self. So over here we've got the guardian angel. So there is a strong angelic presence in your life in May. There's a lot of angels who are around you to help. You can reach out just by asking for their help. You've also got a star and a starfish, which are both symbols of healing. And the star is also symbolic of optimism and faith, hope for the future, belief in yourself. It's also symbolic of you being guided. You have the space charm, giving yourself some space or needing some space or even giving another person some space. If you find that you've been relying on a single person too much and you feel like it's starting to put pressure on them, perhaps. Maybe you need space from a particular situation so that you have time to think and reevaluate what you want there. Over here you've got number 12 on the astrology dice. That points towards the 12th month December, the 12th of a month, so the 12th of May could maybe be quite important. However, it also points towards the 12th sign Pisces and to the 12th house in astrology. And the 12th house in astrology is basically, I think some people call it the bin of astrology, because it's where everything kind of goes that we don't really want to look at. It can be our secrets, our fears, our shame. It can be our addictions, if there are any. It can be things that basically have gone there to die. The 12 is the last number astrologically in the houses, so it points towards the endings and then the beginnings, which obviously you have symbolized through your charms and also through your cards as well. So it's very interesting that you got the 12th house. I would be very interested to know if there is anything in your 12th house that's significant, group 2, because that could point towards the root of some of these fears or some of these issues. Also Pisces can sometimes point towards addictions because it is so connected to the fantasy realm and imagination, so it can be overly susceptible to anything that takes it out of that realm, or which, you know, sort of causes it to have a hyper focus on something. So you might have a strong Pisces placement in your chart as well. Here we've got the shield, this need to defend yourself against something, this need to protect your energy, and also the Knight suggests someone who loves you or someone who is able to assist you in this month. Although it is also landing on the holding on tightly card, so that could be what I said about you wanting to give someone some space. If you feel like you've really been like leaning on them an awful lot and like that could be affecting them. Let's do your dice as well, group 2. This is such an interesting reading. Like both group 1 and 2 have been so different but also so super specific. Okay, we're going to roll the 7th set of dice for you, and those are the Harry Potter dice. I forgot which ones they were for a moment then. And we're rolling 2 of them for you. So not loads, but I always do that so that I'm not rolling all 9 dice that come in each box and, you know, only 2 of them having a message for you, because that could just be confusing otherwise. Got the dice. Let's get 2 of them for you. Two for group 2 as well, I just realized. Okay. So we have the Hogwarts acceptance letter. I think this is like a pun on self-acceptance. Accepting yourself, seeing yourself as worthy. Yeah, it could even be that you are actually enrolling into a new program in May, because for some of you I can see indications that you might be starting a new course, or you might be starting a new job maybe, or going into some kind of training. Some of you it could even point towards literally signing yourself into like a rehab center or a wellness center or a spa to get a break or go on holiday or something. Like this kind of feeling of I'm doing this for me and I'm signing myself up. And then you've also got the sword, which is nice to go with your shield. You've got the full sword and shield there. The sword, obviously I think of the Ace of Swords, so I think of clarity, I think of a clear mind, focus, good communication, new ideas coming to you. But I also do think of defensiveness and kind of defending yourself or being assertive, which I definitely see as coming in handy for you in May, reminding yourself that you are worthy. So that is what I'm seeing in your reading, group 2. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know how this resonated, because I'm really excited to hear from all of you with this readings being so specific. I hope you have a wonderful May. Thank you so much for being here. Check out my description box below or the comment that I post in the comments section to get access to links for my Patreon, for my Instagram, my Etsy page, my wish lists for anyone who wants to send a new tarot or oracle deck to me. I've got a PayPal as well, linked below for donations. And there's a discount code there too, with a link as well, so that you can get a discount on beautiful handmade crystal jewellery, which is infused with intentions to help you manifest what you want. That's linked below. That's a lovely discount that they're offering us over at Modern Day Manifestations. Thank you so much for being here again. Group 2, have a wonderful May. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there, group 3, welcome to your reading. If you chose the purple pyramid with the floating orb and the mandala, and of course the Star Spinner Tarot, this is going to be your reading, so we're going to see what is coming up for you in May, what you can expect. Group 1 and 2 have been very, very different and incredibly specific, so I'm really interested to see what your reading is going to be like. Please do subscribe as well if you haven't already, group 3. It really means a lot to me. It's a lovely way to show your support for the work that I do, and it also means that you will never miss a video or reading whenever I upload it. So let's get your cards. We're going to be doing tarot cards, oracle cards, charms and dice like we always do on the channel. Okay, so we've got the Eight of Pentacles. We also have the King of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. Interesting. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius showing up in your reading so far. I can see May as being a time when you are working hard. You're kind of knuckling down, getting things done because you have this vision, this long-term vision for what your future is going to look like. And it's like, yes, the work might be hard now. It might take a lot of sacrifice or it might take a lot of effort, but you are kind of happy with that because the long-term future is what you're wanting. So it's like you are kind of sacrificing short-term gratification for the long-term outcome. And I kind of feel as though you're going to have a decision to make in May. Big decisions about your future, big decisions about what it is that you want. You might have, for example, 2 job offers come in May and you need to make a decision, or you might have multiple, for example, let's say you're buying a house, you might have like multiple houses that you're interested in that all tick your boxes and you're thinking, ooh, you know, which one do I put an offer in for? Because when we get the Two of Swords, it kind of suggests that the options are equally good or equally bad. And so there's no clear winner. When we look at the options, we don't have one jump out at us saying like, pick me, pick me. It takes a lot more consideration. So it's quite an important month, I think, for you, Group 3, because you're clearly making progress towards long-term goals. As I said, knuckling down and getting things done. And then there's also some important decisions to be making. So there's a lot of thinking going on in May. Okay, interestingly enough, you've got this card, yes, just say yes, okay, and then you also have no, wait, postpone, pause, say no. So that is literally what I'm thinking, like with the Two of Swords, it's like both options seem quite equal to you. They both seem equally good or bad, or, you know, equally qualified to be the one that you choose. And it's like, what do I do? Then you have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? And she's holding a sword. So maybe that's the question you need to ask yourself. Which of these options brings me closer to fulfilling my potential, for example? Which of these options brings me closer to achieving my dreams, to answering my deepest calling, if we're going to use that phrasing? It's like you need to ask yourself that kind of clear question to really get to the right answer. So a very important time. You're getting multiple cards from the Oracle decks as well. Far away places, get ready for new horizons. So literally some of you might be moving house, as I mentioned, looking to buy a different place or looking to move on job-wise. Maybe you are booking a holiday or going traveling as well. Grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. So be grateful for the blessings that you do have, as this opens you up to receive more blessings energetically. Mary Magdalene, teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. So that's like answering your deepest calling. Follow the inner call. Wow. So you're really being called to, there's the word again, really being called to kind of answer what your soul is yearning for in May. Like I said, it seems like a really important month. There's some big decisions and some big opportunities for progress. Lots of cards again. We have Squirrel Spirit, believe in yourself. Number 57, I love that card. And also Owl Spirit, you see clearly now. Number 43. So that's great because that tells you that even if you experience confusion at first, by asking yourself the right questions in May, you will find the answer. You will understand which option is the best option for you to choose. Mend a Broken Heart Fairy, healing from heartache. Number 36. Maybe this is why you want a change in your life. You want to move on from things that have upset you. The base card there is Two Little Witches, magical space clearing time, number 30. So that again points towards new jobs, new homes, new relationships, new horizons in terms of traveling. Could even be that some of you are maybe in actual therapy, like trauma therapy, for example, counseling, physiotherapy potentially, doing something to physically recover from difficult or traumatic experiences. Joyful Muse, inspiration, number 33. This is really, really nice because I am just getting the feeling that there's been this difficulty and this kind of feeling of, can I do it? You know, it says believe in yourself, which suggests that you don't believe in yourself or that you haven't in the recent past. And, you know, you've been thinking, can I do this? Is this possible for me? And in May, you just suddenly get this wave of inspiration and excitement for the future. And yes, you know, there might be difficult times ahead. There might be some tough decisions to make. There might be some real difficult times in terms of you needing to sacrifice things in order for you to get the outcome you want, or the need for you to work hard, really knuckle down and concentrate and work hard, which you might have been putting off. But the enthusiasm, the inspiration, and the enthusiasm for the long-term goal is there in May. You've got your spark back, group 3. Perfect. We've got the person who is on a stormy sea sailing their ship, and there is a rainbow overhead. So it's like seeing you know, the positive side of even the most difficult situations, and it's staying calm in a crisis as well, knowing that your optimism or your faith, your belief in yourself or in the universe is going to get you through. That's a lovely card to receive. Maybe it's going to be a bit of a hectic month, and so you just feel like you never have the opportunity to properly touch base, but you still remain optimistic that things are going to work out. You have empfangen, number 4, receptivity or receiving. You also have Eifersucht, number 79, jealousy. And Schmerz, number 58, pain. So this fits in with the Mend a Broken Heart Fairy, that there has been some pain recently. I'm also quite drawn to the fact that she's laid on a stretcher, the woman with the broken heart, and she's got the rain cloud hanging over her, because it kind of makes me feel like when you're on the floor, energy-wise, when you don't have the energy to face anything, to do anything, to focus, and that I feel has been affecting some of you in the recent time. You haven't had the motivation, enthusiasm, focus to get things done. You've been procrastinating, or you've just been like burying your head in the sand, or hoping things will resolve themselves on their own. And it feels like come May, you get that enthusiasm, that spark, that get up and go once more, and you're able to really go out and pursue the things that are important to you. So I love that you've got that. Also, yeah, jealousy. This could be that you're motivated to improve your life because you want to be as good as or better than other people. It could also be to do with the pain here, because obviously jealousy in this image points towards triangulation. So 3 people being involved in a relationship. But it can also point towards, you know, dissatisfaction with your life, overly comparing yourself to others, which could also be where the believe in yourself message is stemming from. Just take that one however it resonates with you. Empfangen or receptivity suggests that you are now open to receive blessings, gifts, opportunities, help, advice, whatever it is. Like I said, you might be choosing to put yourself through therapy or counseling. Opportunities are coming towards you and you need to be the decision maker, but you're no longer like banging on doors hoping someone will open, metaphorically. You're actually the person who's holding keys to multiple houses and you've got to pick one. That's kind of how it's feeling, group 3. Then here we've got number 14, Hass, hate or hatred. Number 19, Kontrolle, control. And number 82, Lebensaufgabe, life mission or life task. So it's like you really pull in all of your negative feelings of jealousy or hatred or anger or sadness. You pull them in, you control them, and you channel them towards this life mission. This long-term big picture vision that you have. I like how she's also dropping the enchanted mirror with the kind of wicked witch or evil stepmother in it, because it's like she's letting go of jealousy, or she's letting go of whatever is plaguing her, taunting her, haunting her. You know, she's letting it go and she's moving towards the dove of peace and freedom. I will get you a romance angel, group 3. I wasn't going to, but I got one for both of group 1 and 2 because their readings hinted at relationships, so I thought I might as well get one for you as well. See what's going on in love, if anything. Separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. Okay, so that could just indicate that a lot of you aren't in relationships, or you've recently come out of a relationship, or you are consciously choosing maybe to spend less time with your partner in May because you know that you need to focus on other things. So this could be where, you know, the sacrifice comes in that I mentioned. You need to get a lot of work done quickly, so you can't spend as much leisure time, unfortunately, with your partner. It's like that trade-off. What can I do to get that long-term goal that I'm looking for? White chocolate, missing, separate, removed. So that could also be an extension of that message. Missing someone. Feeling separated from someone. Also separating yourself, though, from these like complex situations of triangulation and comparison. Put. This is exactly what I mean. This means a long path, a long road ahead of you. This is the 13 of circles, or it does look a bit like 130 as well, if that means anything to you. And we can see the person here is so tiny they're almost like invisible on the path. And that's what it is for you. You know that you've got a long way to go, but you're looking at the big picture. You have that vision. You might not be exactly sure how you're going to get there, or exactly sure what it's going to be like when you do get there, but you do have that vision and that dream. Let's get you a blind spot oracle card, group 3. These are the cards that are really good at showing you what your blind spot is. So your blind spot is anything that you are not aware of, or anything that you are aware of deep down, but you don't want to acknowledge it because it's confronting or it's frightening to face up to it. So they're really helpful in showing us what our blind spot is, because our blind spot can cause a huge blockage or oversight for us. Okay. So your blind spot in May is number 20. I'll need to look in the guidebook for this because there's no keywords on these cards. They're just a sigil and the number. So number 20. Interesting. So the sigil for number 20 says, you don't know, but you think you know. If you've drawn this sigil, you think you know everything in a circumstance, but actually you do not know everything, and a critical piece of information is missing. Maybe that's also what the missing message from the white chocolate was talking about. Consider that this piece of information or awareness might be something no one sees yet, or it might be a piece of information being provided already by someone from the outside that is being rejected. In this situation, acting from what you know is acting in ignorance. This desire to be the one who knows is not in and of itself negative, but there is a shadow side to the quest for knowledge. The shadow side is that knowledge is often used by the ego as a security blanket. The ego uses knowledge to avoid things that it fears. It says if you've drawn this sigil, you need to be brave enough to face what you are trying to avoid by knowing. Open your mind, operate with the intention of understanding everything. Let curiosity be your mental set point, knowing that a critical piece of understanding which you do not have right now will come to you at any time and from anywhere, even potentially the most unlikely of sources. So I think that's also what the receptivity card is pointing towards, is this need to be open to receive, even if you think, why should I even listen to you? Or how do you know what you're talking about? There's something you don't quite know, so this could affect your decision making. And like I said, they're important decisions in May, so it's very, very important that you have an open mind in May and don't pigeonhole yourself and narrow yourself down and then risk making the wrong choice. You've got number 14 from the King Solomon cards, which is healing. Sorry, it's not healing, is it? It's not healing and repair. It is, I think there's a similar image called healing and repair in a different deck. It's initiative, action, transformation, upheaval, a change of trend. So changing something radically, making a change, consulted with a trusted person and creating a new reality through support and cooperation. So literally, like I said, huge change and positive upheaval. Let's just get you a couple more cards and then we will move on to your charms and dice, group 3. First quarter moon in Virgo, assess the situation. So that is your advice card. And also the base card is practice gratitude, last quarter moon in Sagittarius. So there's that grace and gratitude message again. Assess the situation. Yeah, I think that fits. Obviously it's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn there. So we've got Virgo here again. Earth energy, really assessing everything so that you know you're going to make the right choice, basically, that you've not overlooked anything. Make sure, group 3, that you read through any documents or contracts very, very carefully in this month so that you don't miss something that you'll later regret. Aha, and then we've got number 45 from the Tokens of Light. Samech number 3, the Entrenched Fortress, and that's the portal visualization on the back of the card. And then here we've got number 26, Release from a Stuck Situation, and I think that's Tet 2, and that's the portal visualization. So I like how you got Entrenched Fortress and then Release from a Stuck Situation. So the Entrenched Fortress card comes about when we are blocked in, when we have a very narrow mind, when we feel like these are our only options. See also how it's specifically encircling this person's like head area, like their decision making skills or their ability to speak and hear and smell and see for themselves. The Entrenched Fortress can sometimes also point towards a very, like insular community. So for example, you might think, oh, I'm so lucky that I have such great support from my friends and family. But you might feel constrained by that as well, because if you were to make a decision that goes outside of what they would want for you, you might really struggle to make that decision because you think, you know what, I'll disappoint them when they've done so much for me. So just be careful of that. The letter Samech is the 15th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It is connected to Sagittarius. Its geometric value is 60. It's associated with the element of fire and the Temperance card in Tarot, and it conducts energy from the Sephirot of Tiferet to the Sephirot of Hod for you Kabbalists out there. And then I was right, the other one is Tet, the 9th letter, connected to Leo and August. Its geometric value is 9, associated also with fire, and the Strength card, conducting energy from the Sephirot of Chokmah to the Sephirot of Tiferet. So yeah, being released basically from that situation where you felt trapped or where you felt you were being narrowed down, maybe against your will or maybe without even fully realizing it. I really like that. There's a sense of liberation, and that's what we see in this card as well, isn't it? How I literally pointed out she's leaving behind this negativity or this restriction, this limitation, and she's moving towards the liberating, peaceful energy of the dove. So let's do your charms, group 3. See what else they can tell us. Okay, so here we've got, a few things. So we've got the snowflake, as well as a little bit of a broken wooden charm, which I don't count, but the snowflake is about wintertime. So you could be dealing with something that you've been putting off since the winter, or that started in the winter, or happened in the winter time, or you could be making plans for the coming winter. We've got Hermes or Mercury here, the Greco-Roman god of travel, foreignness, messengers, commerce, all kinds of things. He's showing up for you as a patron deity, a helper. We've got the anchor here, safety, stability, finding your feet, finding your grounding. The worry thread, symbolizing worry and anxiety. We've got angel's wings here. And also the hand of Fatima, the symbol of divine protection. So you've got a lot of divine help and protection coming from a higher source, which is really, really nice to see. You also have the pine cone, which is a symbol of immortality. It's also a symbol for the pineal gland inside your brain. Then we've got the frog, which is a symbol of a good friend, having someone who can support you or have fun with you. In May, maybe you're meeting up with a friend you haven't seen for a while. I should say as well, the pineal gland is very connected to the third eye chakra, so that ability to discern and judge and see things is very, very important, clearly, given that it's coming through not only in your cards but also in your charms as well. We've got the cross, which is about faith, confidence, trust, belief. You have the inner child here, the inner child trauma charm. So, that's an extra message for those of you that are going through or considering going through therapy and counseling and that kind of thing. These issues may have originally stemmed from childhood or even past lives and then been exacerbated in childhood in your current lifetime. You've got the letter M landing on Mary Magdalene, so that could be standing for her, but it did also land like this, so it looked more like a W. So you can take either. It could be a person's name, it could be a word, or a place maybe. Just take whatever comes to mind from that. And then you have Alice, this little Alice charm with all of the card suits on. It always makes me think of gambling, taking a risk. So I would say the choice that you end up making might not necessarily be the obvious choice, if that makes sense for you guys, group 3. It also suggests getting out and having fun, doing things you haven't done in a while, that kind of thing. Let's get your dice on top now as well, finish up your reading. Okay, we're rolling the 8th set of dice for you. Those are the Adventure Time dice. And we're rolling 5 of them for you. Okay, so group 3, what have you got here? Okay, you've got Lumpy Space Princess. And with Lumpy Space Princess, I always think of someone who's very gossipy, someone who's very small-minded, very kind of cares about their status and about what society thinks. So that could be to do with the jealousy and the comparison that we've mentioned, and that's what you're actively pulling away from. She's also landing on Believe in Yourself, the Squirrel Spirit card. You have the fist bump, which suggests having something to be proud of in this month, but it could also refer back to this good friend charm, suggesting hanging out with someone, spending great time with someone, deepening your relationship, especially a kind of friendship relationship with another person. You have the snail. going slowly, going gently. Take your time, I feel, with making the decision. I don't want you to feel rushed in making your choice in May, because I feel like maybe people will try and put pressure on you to make a decision quickly, but it's important for you, given that it's such an important decision, that you take your time with it, and that you really make sure that you've considered all the options, you've read through all the documents and contracts and things very carefully. You've got the lightning, the kind of thunder and lightning going on here, sudden changes, epiphanies, what's the other word I'm thinking of? I'm not sure what I'm trying to think of, but yeah, like epiphanies and sudden transformations and things that kind of, that's it, things that happen out of the blue, things that like appear very unexpectedly. So for example, it can be opportunities that arise out of nowhere. It can be maybe you're trying to make your mind up about something and then someone just says something like a really off the cuff comment and it really makes you think, and it ends up giving you like the answer that you needed. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking of with that. Something that comes up unexpectedly or out of the blue, or something that just hits you suddenly, like sudden change, sudden ideas and epiphanies. And then finally you have the Enchiridion, which is this manual or handbook or guidebook of codes of conduct and things for heroes in Adventure Time. So it's like knowing internally what to do, honestly. This is like what I feel like you've got this kind of Enchiridion encoded within your being. You don't need someone else to tell you what to do. You've kind of already got this sense within you, but it might not be the thing that consciously or on the surface seems the most obvious choice. So I think for some reason I'm having to hammer that home, so that's quite an important thing. Yeah. Anything else from the Enchiridion that I'm getting? Don't think so. Maybe it's just about also lifestyle changes, like trying to live by a certain set of, I don't want to say rules, but like you want to be a very moral person, or you want to be a very good person, like objectively good person, so you try and follow a particular set of rules, because it is landing on Mary Magdalene, and Ascended Master Mary Magdalene teaches us an awful lot about forgiveness and unconditional love and standing up for those who are being belittled. I've been working a lot with her recently, and she's been sending some incredible teachings through, so it's lovely to see her in this reading. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing in your reading today, Group 3. There's a very important time in your life coming up around May time. You're going to have a lot of opportunity to change your life and to really make decisions that are going to impact you for a very long time. So take your time with it and try your best not to let anyone rush you or guilt you or push you down a particular path when it comes to the choices you make and the sacrifices you make and the things that you decide to do. Thank you so much as always for being here, Group 3. Have a lovely rest of your day. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this reading, because I would love to hear from you and whether or not it resonated with you. Please do like, share and subscribe as well if you enjoyed the video. That really helps out my channel. And check out my description box below, or the comment that I post in the comments section, for all of the links to my other social media pages and to other things you can do to get in touch with me. So I have my Instagram linked below, I've got my Patreon page, my Etsy page as well. I have 2 wish lists for new tarot decks if you'd like to send a gift to the channel. I've also got my PayPal link linked below for donations. And I also have a discount code linked below, along with a link to the website, for anyone who wants to get 10% off beautiful handmade crystal jewelry, which are infused with intentions to help you manifest the life you want. So you will get 10% off your first order and free international shipping if you use the discount code below over on Modern Day Manifestations. The link is also provided. Thank you so much for being here again. Group 3, have a lovely rest of your day. Take care. Have a wonderful May, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.